Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. In this episode, we're going to take a look at two things that I get confused about, and I'm sure you do too. This is not the Justa and Jagan. This is Fraw Bo and Braw Bro. Wow, I am so impressed I said both names correctly. Now, both of these are from 0079, the original Gundam anime. And look, a lot of things in Gundam have weird names, so sometimes it's hard to remember what things are, but we're going to dive into these and see what the differences are. Let's start with Fraw Bo, or Frau Kobayashi, as she is known canonically as the story moves forward. She is a flesh organic of the female variety. Nothing about her is metal. There's no magnetic coating. There's no, what do they call those, eye fields or whatever? Yeah, none of that technology. This is just a human, potentially a new type though. All right, we first saw her in the original Gundam 0079, and actually we saw her as the series started, a little bit after that main intro, but as we're being introduced to our main characters like Amuro Ray, we see her, and immediately we're all like, oh, waifu material, because she's taking care of Amuro. She's making sure she's okay. There's the military evacuation orders. Amuro's not listening to that. She goes, gets Haro, gets him some food, grabs Amuro. But the Braw Bro is something different. This is not a flesh-based organic. This is a machine, actually. It's a machine made of metal parts. It probably has an eye field, maybe not actually. Is this that early in the war? But if so, in my recent videos of Gundam Evolve, we were taking a look at the remade Shalia Bull episode. This is the unit that he uses, the MAN-03 Braw Bro. Mobile armor, not a mobile suit, but a mobile armor. What's interesting about this also is like Fraw Bo becoming Fraw Bo becoming a new type. The Braw Bro was one of the first Saikamu equipped machines, specifically a mobile armor for Zeon. All right, some little background information here about Fraw Bo. In 0079, with Amuro's parents separated and his father, Dr. Tem Ray, frequently away on business for the Earth Federation's Project V, Frau takes it upon herself to make sure that the perhaps charitably described engineering nerd or mecha otaku eats, sleeps, bathes, lives in some degree of cleanliness, and, when we first see her, follows military evacuation orders. At the beginning of the first episode of Mobile Suit Gundam, Frau arrives at Amuro's house in their home colony of Side 7. On the morning of September 18th, UC 0079, Frau eventually manages to alert Amuro to the ongoing evacuation and the need to leave, but when the colony is attacked by Zeon Zakutu Mobile Suit, she loses her mother and grandfather, the rest of her family, in an explosion. Indeed, she only survives because she had been chasing Amuro as it happened to make sure he was all right. So Frau and Amuro become crew members of the White Base along with Hayato and other Side 7 civilians like Mirai, Sayla, Kai, Ryu, a whole bunch of others, even Katz, Let's, and Kika, who she ends up adopting. In the novelization, Frau didn't stay on White Base, but on Luna 2, taking care of Katz, Let's, and Kika before they separated, Frau and Amuro admitted their feelings, so that's important, but were rarely able to keep in contact. As the war drew to a close, she came to the realization that Amuro may have forgotten about her, but she wanted him to come back alive. Precipitating the events of a Baoku, Frau is stricken with a horrible illness, and during that time, her own apparent new type abilities awaken, and she talks to Amuro one last time after he dies. In the end, she ends up living alone with custody of Katz, Let's, and Kika. So that's a very interesting story in the novelization. We know that Amuro dies, but it's interesting that her new type ability sort of awakens so they can kind of talk to each other one last time. It kind of reminds me of something else I got into kind of recently after Gundam was Macross, the original, where we have these, two characters that sort of like each other and love each other. Because of war, they're kind of separated. What's sad about this, though, is, Amuro dying. So I kind of like what the animation does, where, that extends on himself and Frau become friends, but not romantically. A little bit of trivia here. Frau is the only major character in Mobile Suit Gundam to be regularly called by her full name. Wow! Frau's uniform is different from the other female crew members of the White Base. The reason for this is not explained, though Gundam The Origin establishes that it was a cadet uniform. I'm glad I know. In the first Italian dub of Mobile Suit Gundam, her name was changed to Marka. Okay. Tomino has stated that Frau is of German descent, so when they're making that Gundam movie, it would be neat for them to hire someone of German descent. Her name is likely derived from the German Frau, an honorific equivalent to Miss in English. Well, let's take a look back at the Braw Bro and see how its life unfolded romantically. In the early stages of the One-Year War, the Principality of Zeon's Flanagan Institute had been searching throughout the colonies of Side 3 and Earth for new types, and thus began a program to design and manufacture weapons for new type use. The first of these was the MAN-03 Braw Bro, a mobile armor that was the size of a small battleship. It has the distinction of being the first mobile weapon to be equipped with the Psychic Communicator Psychomu system for piloting the mobile armor and controlling the only weapons that the Braw Bro was equipped with. 4 wire-guided units mounting 2-barrel mega-particle guns, or single mega-particle guns. The Braw Bro was also designed to separate into different blocks so that any test data could be preserved. Although designed for new types, the Braw Bro is also capable of being operated by old-type pilots. Its cockpit has 3 seats for 1 pilot and 2 gunners. The pilot maneuvers the Braw Bro while the gunners manually control the wire-guided mega-particle guns. It would require 4 gunners to operate the Braw Bro on the same level with a new type pilot. So that's kind of an interesting way that we can kind of measure the manpower of a new type. It's about 4 people. And some quick history. A prototype of the Braw Bro was tested near Side 6, piloted by Simis Al-Bakarov. The left block was destroyed by the RX-78-2 Gundam, but the right block escaped. A second unit was constructed based on the recovered data from the original unit, and the new type pilot came in the form of Zeon Lieutenant Shalia Bull. So that episode we're talking about, a Jupiter's transport ship captain that had exhibited new type abilities. He piloted the unit in a field test against the White Base in the Corregidor Shoal Zone, but the unit was destroyed by the Gundam as well. So a third unit was supposedly encountered by the Pegasus-class assault carrier Thoroughbred while they were escorting Zeon Prime Minister Darcier Bakarov, so the father of Simis Al-Bakarov, to Granada to end the One-Year War. It was destroyed by Ford Romfellow in the RX-78 5 Gundam Unit 5. So interesting, during that time in the One-Year War, it was the Zabi family that was pretty much pulling the strings, like Giran Zabi, even though Darcia Bakarov was like the prime minister of the Principality of Zeon, but you wouldn't know that. But it's neat how we're kind of seeing the idea that family members were in kind of the upper ranks of making use of military weapons. And something to show here real quick, if you haven't checked out the episode that I covered of Gundam Evolve, we look at the Braw Bro where they kind of redesigned it, like updated the look, and I mean, the general shape is there, but it really went all out with like the color of it. It's very interesting. All right, so Fraw Bo, Braw Bro, 2 different things. One is a new type human, one is a Psychomu-based mobile armor, but both featured in 0079. Both have strange names that you probably can't say 5 times in a row. I mean, really, try to say each one of those 5 times in a row, and then try to do it where you say each one after another 5 times in a row. It's a tongue twister. Anyway, y'all, thanks for watching. Be sure to comment below. Check the links in the description if you're interested in supporting the channel. We've got a Discord. We have a lot of fun there. But until next time, be cool.